Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune in to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. It's another great Wednesday, and we're ready to go, man. We're fired up. A lot to talk about, a lot to preview, some more Lions conversations. But I got to introduce the cast here. I got Sam Flannel, my partner in crime, per usual, with his flannel. I do not have a flannel. I'm not a salesman for Bud Light. I do not have anything on. I have a brown hoodie. Is this fine? Is this fair?
Yes, it's fine.
All right.
So no accent today?
What'd you say?
No accent
No
today?
accent today, yeah. No accent. That's my guy, Brandon Dent, a.k.a. Detroit Kool-Aid, in the sound booth, holding it down in the ones and twos. JB in the TD booth, doing a great job. What's trending with JB? Smooth now. 9:45. Stick around for that. Welcome in, everybody. Steve-O Baby Jeff yesterday was awesome, man, talking to Adam. Got to chat with Adam. He was doing a little talking sesh, whatever you call it, I guess. No sports. Just a life session with Adam. Loved it. Had a lot of fun there. Welcome in, everyone. Nick says, Jeff, you just get out of your other job at UPS. Damn it. All right. I look like, is it UPS today? Is this the look? Coke says, Flannel has that radio drip. I don't know. I think that's like a compliment, but also an insult. I don't know.
Do I have like the drip for radio, as they say? That's all right.
Radio drip. Let's see, Chuck Brewer, your take is in for the Lakers. Was disgraceful reffing last night. Yeah.
So actually,
okay.
let me just say this. Do you know how you know that the Lakers won or the Chiefs won? People are bitching about the refs. It's a tale as old as time.
Yeah, well, that Chuck, kind of fair in a little bit of it.
That is not fair.
We can talk about that a little bit later and what's trending.
let's do that. Ryan's reaction, because Juicy delivers. Now, I like that. I do. The UPS joke. I always deliver. Jordan says, Jeff woke up 5 hours ago to start on his hair. That is true. That is true. At least 5 hours. Certified supply chain professional. I thought Jeff and the Italian mob took out Adam. No, I did not. Called off the dogs. He is okay. Mike Bell, let's go, Jeff. All right, guys, let's get started here. At least as of yesterday, I got decent news and I have bad news. I don't even want to say good news and bad news because the bad news outweighs the good news. Bad news, Detroit Lions defensive tackle Alim McNeill. He is now placed on IR. You see it there, the Woodward Sports graphic. You can check that out, all our social media. This stinks. It stinks. There's no way around it. He is one of your best defensive players and especially your best interior defensive lineman, a guy who is one of your more important players against the run, and Alim's been solid all year. I know he's been battling some injuries, but I believe it's a knee sprain. That's what is being reported, which isn't season-ending, but still, it's gonna take some time. He's on IR, Sam, so he's out at least the next 4 games.
Yeah, that's going to be an absolutely huge loss because Alim McNeill has been one of the best defensive players on this team. As I said before the year, and as I've said continuously as the year has gone on, he has taken that leap into a I would say borderline Pro Bowler. He's almost there because he's second on the team with 5 sacks. The only one who has more is Aiden Hutchinson. I would say Alim McNeill has been the only consistent help on the defensive line for Aiden Hutchinson, and certainly in the interior without a shadow of a doubt. And I know you guys are going to like PFF for this one, even though as the season has gone along, Alim McNeill has maintained his stranglehold over PFF. He is the 6th ranked interior defensive lineman in the NFL, according to PFF, only behind Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams, Aaron Donald, Jalen Carter, and Osa from the Cowboys. Those are some pretty big names, and Alim McNeill. And furthermore, what have the Lions done well this season defensively? Stop the run. And Alim McNeill, I would say, has been either if not the number one reason for that, right at the top, because he is 5th in the entire NFL in terms of an interior defensive lineman, according to PFF, against the run. And in that, he is actually ahead of Aaron Donald and Jalen Carter. So Alim McNeill has been very, very valuable to this team. And one of the reasons, too, why he is probably going to be very missed is because without Alim, this may be the worst interior defensive line group in the NFL. Not just amongst contending teams. It's bad. Broderick Martin has given you nothing. Isaiah Buggs, for some reason, isn't on the field. You've got Bohanna starting. You've got Levi Onwuzurike, who's been an absolute nothing of a nothing. The cupboard is bare, I would say.
No, yeah, I would say that as well. The Lions made a signing, but before we get to that signing, you just brought up something interesting. And I'm not trying to be petty, but also I'm going to be petty. Okay, that just... Who is he behind in PFF rankings?
He was behind,
Did I hear Dexter Lawrence?
Yes.
The guy that we clamor is just too damn good for Kayvon Thibodeau to benefit from, but he's right behind him, Ali McNeil.
Yeah, no, I mean...
So we should stop saying the whole Aiden needs help thing, right?
I mean, Dexter Lawrence is ahead of Aleem McNeil.
By how much?
He's number one, Aleem's 6.
Okay.
No, I mean...
That's why PFF, I don't mind it, but like things like... We know Dexter's like significantly better than Aleem, but... According to PFF, it ain't too much of a drop-off.
We're going to talk about Aiden later.
I can't wait.
We're going to have a very...
I'm trolling, by the way, but that's why...
We are going to have a mature discussion because I'm kind of ready to put all of the anger that I've had these first couple of days aside and just have a mature discussion.
That's why PFF, I don't hate it, I get it, but sometimes I'm like... Damn, you can't use it to make your argument. That is true. Yeah. Now, the Lions did sign somebody, and I saw someone in the chat say the Lions signed a senior citizen. That's aggressive. All right, I'm not going to go that. I'm not going to go that far. Spenny made some early bird special jokes about Bruce Irvin, and then he put Derek Carr in a coffin. So maybe Spenny should make fun of this signing. Maybe it'll help us. Veteran defensive tackle Tyson Alualu, I believe is how you pronounce his name. Alualu. Damn it. Tyson Alualu, man. 36 years old. Nose tackle. Like, this is kind of the role he's filling in here. He's gonna help kind of bolster that defensive line. It's depth at the same time. You know, a guy that's experienced. He's won in this league, and he's played a lot of football in this league. So, you know, more depth on your defensive line, cool. I'm not going to go down the route of he's not going to do anything because we saw that worked out with Bruce Irvin. I think this man can contribute. At the same time, though, the question I have and the question I don't get an answer to, and it's frustrating me because we don't know and we're not in the locker room, what the hell is going on with Isaiah Buggs?
That's the question.
What is going on?
Questions.
Like now I'm just genuinely curious. This man was a big part of this team, signed an extension when he played this year. Defensive line didn't look too shabby. Not saying Isaiah Buggs is the complete difference, but what is going on with Isaiah Buggs, man?
Well, that's kind of the thing, because early on in the year, we all know the first couple games, there was this mystery. Why isn't Isaiah Buggs playing? And then he comes in, plays a few games, and the Lions defense all of a sudden plays pretty well. And I get it. They started to play some of the worst quarterbacks on their schedule, like the Desmond Ritters and the Bryce Youngs and the Baker Mayfields and the likes of that. But there was a discernible difference when Isaiah Buggs was on the field. He is one of the most, I would say, talented interior defensive linemen on this team. That's not saying much, but Isaiah Buggs is a guy who's actually made plays in this league. And it kind of is, and this isn't any disrespect to Tyson Alualu because he's done some good things in the NFL, but the fact that the Lions have to sign him, and I think they're going to count on him to some extent to perform and contribute, that's saying something, especially when you got a guy who has been a valuable member of this Lions team both last year and this year on your roster, but for some reason isn't playing. We don't know the whole story, but I think that's the maddening part about it. It's like, why? We asked Matt Broder, and he doesn't know. Like one of our trusted sources, a person who is in the building. It's just... Isaiah Buggs right now there's an APB out for him. He is like the international man of mystery, and it's frustrating, especially if this defense continues to struggle, and you could see that, I wonder where we could find a guy who could at least make some plays and be a rotational defensive tackle. Oh, that's right, Isaiah Buggs, but for some reason he's not out there. It's frustrating right now.
No, it is, and that's the thing. You've seen Isaiah Buggs contribute to winning. Now, Galloping Lake 6, and feel free to chime in our chat here at youtube.com. Galloping Lake 6, Buggs hasn't played since the Ravens game where he had 4 solo tackles. Sir James says Martin is a project. We knew that when they drafted him. Yeah, the whole Broderick Martin thing, guys. I want to make this clear. And Tim Twentyman, you could check out the Heavyweights. They did an interview with him. It was a great interview. And he kind of gave his input on the whole Broderick thing, and it makes a lot of sense. They took Broderick because of the physical attributes this man has. He has the longest arms in the draft. I get all that. He's very raw. He played at Western Kentucky. I don't think they're going to throw him out in a 9-3 season where a lot of these games are playing or everything's on the line. Broderick's not going to be out there yet. So that's why they go out and get a 36-year-old who's played a ton of football. I know it's not the sexy signing, but Broderick is a project. We kind of knew that coming in. So I can't sit up here and say, Broderick's a bust already, because we knew when they drafted him. They said it right away to the fans and to the media, like, he needs some work, like technique and all that stuff. There's a lot of things he needs to learn. But this whole injury thing with Isaiah Buggs being inactive, he was inactive last week. It is confusing. But at the same time, it is nice. I mean, you have veterans that are chasing a Super Bowl coming to the Detroit Lions. Now, where's Ndamukong Suh, though? I'll take you, Ndamukong Suh. I wouldn't be mad about that 36-year-old. And it's expected he's going to choose his team very, very soon. So with this signing, Sam, you know what this tells me? They might have reached out to Suh, and he wasn't interested. Because if he's looking for a team to sign with, and you just signed a defensive tackle, I don't want to say that Brad didn't reach out, but clearly he didn't want to join the Lions.
Well, but even in Ndamukong Suh, and I'm gonna say him and Tyson Alualu. And I'll go with Ndamukong Suh because I think right now he's better, and he obviously reached heights that Alualu could never even sniff. I mean, Ndamukong Suh is a borderline Hall of Fame defensive tackle who still has something left in the tank. On a defensive line with Ali McNeil, oh yeah, I could definitely see Ndamukong Suh playing a role and just playing limited snaps, but would a 36-year-old Ndamukong Suh on this putrid defensive line actually be asked to be somewhat of a savior? I mean, who, like, Benito Jones is another one. I mean, I'm not. This isn't knocking these guys. It's just, who do they have right now on that defensive line? It's actually pretty depressing because it's been Lee McNeil and nobody. I mean, like the Bohanas are making a play once in a while, but Benito Jones, Levi Onwuzurike is. If we talk about Brad Holmes' bad picks, that's one. Maybe Josh Pascal, my
guy, Josh Pascal.
Your guy.
Hey, he was making some plays last week. A little bit. He was making a little bit.
He's not terrible,
he's not bad.
But
I expected a lot more to Josh Pascal. But Levi Onwuzurike, we can just assume he's a bust.
You do go out of your way to bring up Josh Pascal a lot, though. Are you part of the Pascal family somehow?
I don't know.
We all have our guys.
When it's my guy, it's my guy.
Yes.
Josh Pascal, I do. I like him a lot. JB, I want your thoughts on it. The signing, Ndamukong Suh, and maybe the lack of depth. Or not the lack of depth, but really the lack of talent now without Ali McNeil on the interior for the Lions.
I mean, yeah, we're definitely going to be hurting a little bit out there. But if you guys tuned into the Heavyweights last night, Tim Twentyman, he basically explained, like, hey, a lot of these other guys, they're going to have to step up. We don't expect Ndamukong Suh to sign here at all, even though he says he wants to sign with a contender. But most of those signs are looking like he's going to end up either in Philly or maybe Miami. We really just don't know. But I don't think that is going to happen for Detroit as of right now. And this sucks. It's really heartbreaking. But a lot of these guys are going to have to step up. You're hoping that, James Houston can come back in time. And, I mean, hell, there was even rumors that C.D. Deuce might be back a lot sooner than we think. But I don't know. It just sucks right now. And as far as the signing goes, I feel like this is just a body added to the roster just to kind of, just to fill a spot, just fill a position, and honestly just to get the work done week to week. No one's looking for him to be a world beater and you sit here and have so many sacks and an all-star level second half of the season, but it's just an extra body that the Lions need as of right now, and I don't think any big signings are going to come anytime soon. This is just not the way Brad Holmes operates, and that's fair to say too. So as far as his defense goes, it's not looking great, Bob. It's really not looking great.
And DeGod says Suh doesn't like Detroit. That's why he left in the first place. And again, out of the teams that he's expected to choose, I think we can all assume that there's one team that he's already played for that I think he will join, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll see. Maybe not, maybe so. Kool-Aid, I want your thoughts on it too. The loss of Lee McNeil. You concerned? You should be, but what?
You know
what
what,
extent?
man? Earlier in the season, when people were saying Brad needs to go get depth, I was one of those guys that was like, let him cook. He has some good pieces on here. Let them get healthy. but they literally look like now they're one injury away from this defensive line being kind of absolutely in some serious trouble, man. Some serious trouble. I'm hoping that the return of James Houston, it looks like it's going to be a little later than expected. I'm hoping that return adds some life to this defensive line. He did last year. I'm hoping it does this year because they're going to need it now, especially for the playoffs.
Yeah, James Houston, and that storyline's, I wonder when he's getting back. It says December, but we'll see with that. But again, James Houston isn't going to fix at least Ali McNeil, what he could provide in the run game.
Yeah.
Like Houston is a pass rusher. He comes in on passing downs, which he is damn good at. But we'll see. Maybe Tyson Alu can help out. And that's not an inside, by the way. I'm not trying to take shots at him. He's probably solid. He's a solid individual. But yeah, this wasn't the. This is like, hey, we got Ndamukong and Sue at home. We got Tyson Alu. Okay, let's go to break here. When we get back, we're getting Aiden Hutchinson because hey, Sam Flannel, Lions PFF Twitter account, they had your back yesterday.
Yep.
They posted his win rate. So we're going to go through that. It was pretty impressive. I can't even lie to you. We'll review that. We'll talk a little bit more about Aiden Hutchinson, what kind of happened against the Saints, because now we got the data to kind of show us how productive he was, besides sacks, of course, but the impact he had. Let's do that when we come back. But first, Sam Flannel, could you tell us about our friends over at Lady Jane's? Maybe Tyson Alu can come into Lady Jane's.
Hey,
right? I don't know if he has hair or not, but hey.
I would love to shake Mr. Alu's hand. And while I'm getting my A+ haircut from the A+ stylist, of course, come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tourney. That's right. No expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked!
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people, and that's exactly what Les Stanford has been doing. The same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford at Dearborn today. Find the brand you want, lsstanford.com. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Thank you guys for joining the show. If you can do us a favor and hit the like button on the show there, it does kind of help push out the show. So much appreciated. It also supports the network. Let's get into Aiden Hutchinson. And I see people talking in the chat, and you guys are cracking me up, even though I hope you're trolling. Mr. Ray says, Bruce needs help. Well, will our defense step up to help him? I don't know. This comment, Sappy Johnson, Irvin needs help. Will Hutch step up?
Oh, my God. I want to be nice to you guys today. Come on.
That is funny. That is funny.
That is not funny.
Sam's trying his hardest today. Come on, guys.
Yeah, he is. He's trying to keep the composure. I respect it. All right, let's get to this statistic. PFF Detroit Lions, which is a Twitter account that kind of posts all Lions players, PFF grades, different statistics. They posted yesterday, Aiden Hutchinson had a 35.7 pass rush win rate versus the Saints. First among defenders in Week 13, minimum 10 pass rush snaps. So what this graphic basically says is out of all the defensive ends or defensive tackles in the league, defensive linemen, we'll just say, he won them at the highest rate. especially typically one-on-ones, whatever the case may be, double teams. 35.7% pass rush rate. And you talk about his pressures in that game. I believe he had like 7 pressures.
He had 7.
And the whole team had like 20, 21, I believe, something like that. So he did account for about 33% of your pressures, and he's winning at a rate at 35.7%, which, again, I said this yesterday, Sam, and this is where me and you can agree. I will not deny that Aiden has an impact on the game. I will not deny that. Neil Rule can bring up if he doesn't have sacks, he has no impact. That's ridiculous. You can still have an impact without getting sacks. Now, at the end of the day, if you're winning at a 35.7 win rate, you're getting to the quarterback and you're pressuring the quarterback, and he's up there in the league in pressures. All the case I make is eventually he's going to have to get home. Now, it helps now when you have Bruce Irvin that can clean up and other players that can contribute. And I do believe once James Houston gets back, although it's not the impact I don't think it'll be the impact that other people may think of James Houston right away. I think there'll have to be some games there, some time for him to kind of get his feet under him and get back to the Houston we know of last year. This is impressive. I'm not even going to try and slander this. 35.7%, you're winning on one-on-ones.
Sure.
Now, if you're doing that, you should have a lot more sacks. But regardless, it is impressive, Sam.
Yeah,
it is. I'll give it to him.
I guess here's where some of my vitriol from the last couple days came from. It's because the Lions, despite all of that, despite the fact that Aiden Hutchinson is in a slump when it comes to sacks, and even I'll admit that, but I don't think that's a slump for his play, the Lions are a 9-3 football team, and Aiden Hutchinson has consistently been rated as one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, according to stats like PFF, according to pressures and all of that jazz. They're still winning, even though the defense has struggled at times. Even the defense has done some things well this year, like they're top half of the NFL in yards allowed per game, and they're top 5 in rushing defense. I'm not saying that their defense has been good by any means, but some of the points that they have allowed have actually been pick sixes, fumble returns for touchdowns, and short fields for offenses. Not all of them, but some. I just want to put that into a little bit of perspective. And when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson, I just kind of want to look at his season in terms of a bird's eye view, I will say. First off, there are 4 games in which I won't defend Aiden Hutchinson. The 3 losses in which the team gave up 37, 38, and 29 respectively. And if you recall, I never did try to defend Aiden for that game. And the Chargers game. That was just an offensive shootout in which the defense didn't show up. So those are 4 of the 12 games in which Aiden Hutchinson could, if he would have made more of an impact, maybe it would have made a difference in the game. But he did not play well in those games, I would say. And obviously the games in which Aiden Hutchinson has had a sack, he's had a sack in 4 of the games. The Lions are 4-0, and we would all agree, everyone in the chat included, even the people who are a little sour on Hutch would agree that he had a major impact in those games. But then you even look at, and this is why I defend Hutch so hard, in the Kansas City game, I think we would, it seemed like the sentiment after the game was Hutchinson played very, very well. He was constantly putting pressure on Patrick Mahomes, and the Lions gave up only 20 points to, I get it, there was no Travis Kelce, but the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, one of the best coach-quarterback duos ever, and certainly the best coach-quarterback duo in the NFL right now, and Patrick Mahomes got 3 hits on, Aiden Hutchinson got 3 hits on Patrick Mahomes. And then the game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Aiden Hutchinson wasn't great or anything like that, but he was impactful in a game in which the Lions defense only gave up 6 points. And you look at the game against the Raiders, the team as a whole had 6 sacks. Aiden Hutchinson had 2 quarterback hits and was constantly putting pressure on Jimmy Garoppolo, including one pressure that forced Jimmy Garoppolo to miss a wide-open Devontae Adams. And it seemed like Aiden Hutchinson's presence in the backfield was creating sack opportunities for other players like Alex Anzalone. And in that game, the defense only gave up 7 points. The other 7 was off of a pick 6. And then in the game against the Saints, he leads the NFL that week in pass rush win rate. And when you watch the game, it seemed to me when I was watching that the Saints were getting rid of the ball pretty quickly. Derek Carr was constantly getting rid of the ball quick. It seemed like the receivers were open. I don't think that was as much of a pass rush problem as it was a coverage problem, whereas in the game against the Packers, I think it was more on the pass rush than the coverage. And I already said that I don't think Aiden Hutchinson played well in that game. And I know I got to bring this up because I always do. Aiden Hutchinson is the 6th ranked edge rusher when it comes to, according to Pro Football Focus. And the only players that he is behind are Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, Max Crosby, and TJ Watt. That to me sounds like the 5 best edge rushers in the NFL, followed by Aiden Hutchinson. I'm not saying he's as good as those guys. I'm not saying he's the 6th best edge rusher in the NFL. I'm just trying to put a little bit of perspective. And to be fair, he is tied with Andrew Van Ginkel for 6, and I think some. I'm not trying to hate on him.
Ginkel.
If you wanna use that as like an argument to why PFF is fraudulent, go right ahead. But still, when you look at the 5 before him, I think that is good proof that maybe it is not. And also, furthermore, Aiden Hutchinson is ranked 4th in the NFL according to PFF in pass rush, just his grade, which he's actually graded higher rushing the passer than TJ Watt and Max Crosby. Again, is he as good as those guys? Absolutely not, but I'm putting a little bit of perspective into it. And this isn't even PFF, because there are other sites that measure pressures. This is according to Pro Football Reference, that doesn't give pressures out as liberally as PFF. Aiden Hutchinson, according to Pro Football Reference, so if you want to crap on me for PFF, this is Pro Football Reference. Aiden Hutchinson is 4th in the NFL in pressures, only behind Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, and Josh Allen. And he actually has more, according to Pro Football Reference, than Max Crosby, Micah Parsons, and Myles Garrett. Again, I'm not saying that he has been the all-pro defensive player of the year type that maybe those are the expectations I put on him too quickly, because that might have been a little unfair of me. But to say that he's had a bad year, to say that he's been a disappointment, to say that he's been unimpactful, I just gave you a myriad of reasons why that is not the case. Could he be better? Absolutely. But he has had a damn good year. Damn what you people say.
In this comment, by the way, it makes me laugh. Nobody. Van Ginkel is a beast, Jeff. Stop.
He is.
Okay, hey.
He
okay,
is.
I wasn't familiar with their game, Van Ginkel. I watch it. He plays for the Dolphins, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. He's the linebacker. Let me mention this too, because I hear this a lot. I do, and I get it, completely understand it. But it just sounds so repetitive that sometimes it does get sometimes annoying when people are like, well, he gets doubled every single play. I understand that. I completely understand that. Actually, other defensive ends in the league understand that. I mean, Myles Garrett this season, he's double teamed 32% of the time. Micah Parsons, 33% of the time. Will Anderson Jr., 22% of the time. Jadeveon Clowney, even at his age, he's productive. He's double teamed 26% of the time. So I get it. Like double teams and chipping Aiden, I get it makes it difficult. But that can't be an excuse. Like, it just can't.
Well, it's not an excuse.
These other
it's a
guys are
reason.
double teamed, every 3 plays they're double teamed once, and they're getting to the quarterback.
But I'm giving you reasons on
But he's still been productive.
I was about to say, I'm giving you examples
Yes.
of games in which he has had an impact. And I've already said before, in a third of the games this year, Hutch has been disappointing in the 3 losses and against the Chargers. I've never understood why the sentiment from this weekend, even on this show on Monday, were people just bitching about Hutch when the Lions got a big road win at the Saints. And remember, after the Thanksgiving game against the Packers, I came here and said that Aiden Hutchinson needs to be better. It's just the Lions are 9-3. I still think Aiden Hutchinson has been the best defensive player on this team. This defense hasn't been good, but it hasn't been as bad in some areas as maybe you all think. I think that Aiden Hutchinson at absolute worst, he is the least of the problems. He may not be as much of a solution that maybe we would all like. He may not make all of the game-changing sacks that we all want, but he has had a major impact on that game. And now I'm guessing that a lot of you, and I got to be snarky again, are going to find a way that pass rush win rate is a useless stat as well.
No, it is
It's
not.
coming. It's coming. I know it's coming.
Let's go to break here. When we get back, we'll preview the Bears game a little bit, because I do want to talk about the loss of Alim McNeill and maybe your concern level with this defense, because, again, Chicago, although they looked like absolute garbage against the Vikings, offensively and defensively, at least, before the fourth quarter and towards the end of the fourth quarter, they looked pretty good against the Lions on the road there. So we'll talk about that, your concern level. How big of a game is this? Because I kind of went through it yesterday with the scenario. If the Lions beat the Bears, not only will the division be closer to being locked up, it could be very well locked up depending on what happens with the other teams, Vikings and Packers. But you need to beat the Bears. You need the 49ers to hopefully, which won't happen, but let's just say it does, lose to the Seahawks, and then need the Eagles to lose to the Dallas Cowboys, and this whole thing looks a lot differently, I'll tell you that. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Dispo.
Yes, experience Dispo Romeo, a team that curates an exclusive atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. The first ever cannabis mall of its kind is conveniently located off of Van Dyke and 32 Mile Road in Romeo. Dispo Romeo is now open late night until midnight, every day except Sunday. Can it get any better than that? Dispo Dispensary, disposhops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, two of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Join Woodward Sports' own Jeff Iafrate, along with special WSN guests, for the most anticipated Lions season in decades. Filled with different surprises and expert analysis. You're not going to want to miss out. Go to our Woodward Sports YouTube channel on Sundays and tune in live from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m.
Winter is here, and if you're dreaming of a new home but feeling the pinch, we've got some fantastic news for you. Mark White & Associates, your trusted real estate experts, are here to help. Here's the deal. When you work with a Mark White & Associates realtor, they'll pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's right, buying a home just got a whole lot easier. Imagine having an extra $5,000 in your pocket this winter. With years of experience and a commitment to making your dreams a reality, Mark White & Associates are your go-to team for all things real estate. This incredible opportunity won't last forever. Call Mark White & Associates today at 248-290-8242 and let them make your winter home buying dreams come true. Visit their website, markwhitesales.com, or call them at 248-290-8242 to hear the full terms of this offer and begin your home search today.
Before we, talk more about the Bears game, I do want to spend a minute here to talk about the Detroit Red Wings, because what they've been doing over the last, 7 games, and just this season in totality, they've won 6 of 7. They're 7-2-1 over the last 10. They're on a 3-game winning streak, and they're 3rd in the Eastern Conference in terms of points. So, again, the Red Wings are buzzing, and Patrick Kane has yet to make his debut. So, exciting times. Exciting times coming.
Oh, yeah. No, it's funny? Coming into the season, I thought that the Lions were the team that was furthest along on the rebuild, but I'm thinking maybe the Lions and the Red Wings, they're maybe at the same stop of the highway right now. I mean, with the Lions, we're talking about winning a home playoff game as the absolute minimum. Could this Red Wings team actually get into the playoffs and do some damage, maybe win a series? And then, and we all know in the NHL, it is as wide open as it can get. The NFL can get pretty wide open too, but nothing compares to the NHL, in which 1 seeds regularly fall to 8 seeds. So I'm very, very excited about this team. It looks like they're going to, if they continue on this trajectory, at least make the playoffs. They've already pocketed a lot of wins to maybe account for a slower stretch later on in the season. Bravo to the Red Wings. Bravo to Steve Yzerman, Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Larkin.
2 goals last night.
Yeah, Sider. I mean, I could go on and on and on. But this Red Wings team, I think the buzz that we're going to see at Little Caesars Arena is going to be the exact opposite of the buzz of when the Pistons play, which is sorry about that Kool-Aid, but just all Little Caesars Arena for Red Wings games could end up being the place to be if they keep winning at the level that they're winning.
Boys are buzzing, eh?
Boys are buzzing, absolutely.
Oh, hell yes, they are. And again, big shout out to Dylan Larkin for everything he's went through. 2 goals last night. Had a beautiful goal, too.
Yes.
One of those shots. But regardless, let's spend more time just kind of talking more about this defense, because it is big news. It just is. And with the loss of Aleem McNeil, it does cause for concern for me, because when you talk about Aiden and what makes him better, it's, of course, having a guy like Aleem McNeil on the interior that can win one-on-ones or draw double teams, and that's Aleem McNeil. They don't have too many guys that can do that. Bruce Irvin can do that at 36 years old and 11 pass rush snaps. He showed that. But regardless, this is a guy that you can count on week to week. We'll find out. Maybe so. But for this defensive line and what the Bears, they're going to want to run the ball. You know that. The secondary has not been playing that well for the Lions. Brian Branch made an interception, a great interception, but at least in coverage, it's not pretty. And Derek Carr, before he looked really bad, afterwards started looking damn near perfect until Bruce Irvin, again, put him in a coffin. And that's what kind of sealed the deal, for me at least. Because Jameis Winston, and that's why I tried telling Stick yesterday, he wasn't completing a lot of those passes that, and you mentioned it, that Derek Carr most likely would have completed. I don't want to say because Derek Carr's a much better quarterback than Justin Fields in terms of throwing the football, definitely. But we know how much problem the Lions have with containing a running quarterback. Someone as elusive as Justin Fields, and he kind of showed that when he was at Ford Field. One thing you cannot do is give up big plays like they did to DJ Moore.
Yep.
That's where you can try and have Justin Fields beat you with his legs, which, again, he's dynamic. But the last thing you can afford to do, Sam, is have this man beat you with his legs and arms.
Oh, yeah.
Make this man look like Michael Vick. It can't happen. And that's my concern with this defense. I think AG, they'll bounce back. They're on the road. It'll be bad weather. So, again, I think a lot of it's going to be won in the trenches. And this offensive line's played damn well. But this defensive line, Sam, they got to have a big game. And I don't know if it's fair for us to even expect that at this point. We'll see. Aiden Hutchinson, definitely. He's by far your best guy left.
Yeah, that's a question. Is the absence of Aleem McNeil going to hurt them, specifically a team like the Bears? I mean, it's going to hurt him. It's going to hurt them regardless. But, yeah, not having Aleem McNeil there is going to be huge. And if you even go back to the last game against the Saints, and as much as I hate to harp on it, I believe that the Saints probably would have gone down and scored a go-ahead touchdown if Derek Carr was in there and not Jameis Winston, because Jameis Winston just missed some terrible throws, and one of them where Chris Olave was literally just sitting there wide open and Jameis Winston just missed him. But anywho, the point is to talk about the Bears and Justin Fields. I mean, when you look at what happened the last time that the Lions played the Bears at home, the Bears could have easily won that game, and the Lions offense, particularly Justin Fields, gave them some problems, because when you look at what actually happened in that game, the Lions did a pretty good job of stopping their running backs. Khalil Herbert, I believe, averaged less than 2 yards per carry, but that was, again, with Aleem McNeil in the lineup, and he's not going to be there this time. But yeah, Justin Fields, you talk about if he can beat you with his arms and his legs, that's when he's at his most deadly, because he hasn't shown a whole lot over his career that he consistently beat you with his arm, but he kind of did that in a way against the Lions. I mean, I get it. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he also didn't have a turnover, which is rare for Justin Fields. And when he needed to make a big throw to DJ Moore, he did it. And oh, by the way, Justin Fields also had his only 100-yard game of the year against the Lions defense. So yes, it is very, very concerning, because this is the type of game, and I know we're going to get into it more as the week goes along, that could be the difference between fighting for a 1 or a 2 seed and not feeling very confident that the Lions can even win a playoff game, because it is a tough game. It is on the road. It is at Chicago. It is outdoors, but you got to win that one. And if you can't stop Justin Fields, if you kind of let him run wild like last time and don't force any turnovers, I think that is the ingredients for a Bears win. But on the other hand, the Lions offense in that game didn't put him in always the best positions. I mean, Jared Goff threw 3 interceptions, and to the defense's credit, they only gave up 3 points. The defense played kind of bend, don't break. They allowed 4 field goals. So you can take some positives from what the defense did against the Bears and also some negatives, but the biggest negative of them all is that one of your best players on your defense is not going to be there. And I think that will be at least a major factor in the run game and interior pressure, of course.
And again, man, you talk offensively. You mentioned it. No Frank Ragnow. I don't think he ain't playing for sure. Now, it's on a season-ending injury, which is the good news, but the bad news is he won't be available this week. Aleem McNeil won't be available this week. Jonah Jackson's back, so that's great. But you're gonna have to have Graham Glasgow play center, and you're gonna have to bring in Colby Sorsdahl, which sets up Neil Rule if Jared plays bad to blame Colby. So just beware of that. But regardless, that's the thing I'm concerned about too. Frank Ragnow's a big part of this offensive line, and it allows Graham you get your best 5 out there. So we'll see. I am concerned, JB. Frank's a big part of this offensive line. There's no doubt about it. He's one of the best at his position. But again, and I want to read this comment because they did correct me. And I'm very fair if you got the answers. I believe it was Nick Williams. Yep, it's supposed to be pretty nice on Sunday in Chicago. I'll be there. Okay, well then you know what? I'm wrong on that. It's supposed to be nice, which again, even in cold weather, not going to be hot. They're going to run the football. You know exactly what they're going to do. But what's your concern level, JB? You don't have Frank Ragnow. You don't have Aleem McNeil.
You don't have Frank. You don't have Aleem McNeil. I mean, concern levels maybe at a 6 right now. Obviously, every single game you're concerned about the other team, but now this one, I didn't know about the weather change because last night on Heavyweights we were talking that, hey, it was looking kind of bad out there, and, you know, Jared Goff does not play well in cold weather games outside, especially with his tiny baby hands as well, too.
Oh, my gosh.
So, but
Got these tiny hands.
Yeah, I know, those tiny hands. But I think overall this team is definitely going to have to step up, and this will be the big test, especially with all these injuries going out right now. So this is going to be a huge test right now moving forward, and you can't look the Bears past in the rear view as well, because the last game they played, they honestly thought they had the game wrapped up. So if you think they aren't going to come back in this game and actually have some firepower and be a little pissed off that, hey, we had the game wrapped up and somehow we just let it slip out of our hands, no. They are going to be playing with a little bit more fire than we can expect. But, yeah, I expect this to be a in-the-trenches game, and it's basically the run game. So if you got some David Montgomery bets, load them up.
These comments coming in, and you guys, I don't which is the right answer? Daniel says sunny and 36. Jordan says 53 and rainy in Chicago. And James says partly cloudy, 36. Man,
I mean, weather
you guys
changes
are
day to day, man.
I was going to say, you guys are like the real weatherman. Yeah, right. You're capping. And that's why we can't trust any of you. Which one's true? If it's rainy, it's very different than being partly cloudy.
Yeah.
But regardless, at least I appreciate you guys for trying to join there and give your weather updates. I don't know the weather at this point. There's like 4 different type of weather situations we got in the chat. But I will say this. I don't care how much they win by. I do not give a damn.
Yeah.
I had that whole thing with Las Vegas. How, hey, if you're the much better team, you should beat Las Vegas pretty decisively. You should beat the Raiders. At this point in the season, December, you're dealing with injuries. The weather's getting rougher, especially in outdoor places you have to travel to. Just win the damn game.
Yes.
That's all I'm at, Sam Flannel. They go in by 1, 2, 3. I don't care. Win in overtime. Just win the damn game.
Yeah, and I think that Lions fans, and I'll include myself in this, need to realize that these games coming down the stretch are going to be tough. I mean, the game at the New Orleans Saints, it was a tough game, but they pulled it out and won. That's why I can understand some concerns after it, but I think there was a little bit too much negativity. If they go into Chicago, and we all talked about the Bears before the season, well, maybe not so much before the season, but as the season went along and they got off to that terrible start as this joke of a franchise that's not going to be any threat to the Lions. But hey, when the Bears came to Ford Field, they probably should have won that game if it wasn't for them choking at the end and the Lions able to make that comeback. And this is going to be a tough one. And it's a road win in the NFL in division. And oh, by the way, this Bears defense that coming into the year, we're not very confident in. I don't think a lot of people were, and the Bears defense was terrible last year. It has gotten a lot better as the season has gone along. By the way, they are the #1 run defense in the NFL, and you've even seen with the addition of Montez Sweat how big he has been, and you look at a TJ Edwards, who actually has been a successful free agent signing for them. Jalen Johnson has emerged. This Bears team is nothing to play with, but you still got to win, though, because at the end of the day, what was it? I think Bill Parcells said it, you are what your record says you are. The Lions are 9-3, the Bears are 4-8. It would be a bad loss, but you got to get it any way you can get it. I don't care if it's 1 point, like you said, overtime. I don't care if it's a comeback. I don't care if it's a wire-to-wire blowout. They all count the same. Style points don't matter. Just get the damn win.
Yeah, especially get the damn win.
Get the damn win.
In the run defense, one of the best run defenses, absolutely. The addition of Montez Sweat, another pass rush threat. Seriously, Montez Sweat's been playing really well.
Yes.
They could take the ball away, which, again, Lions went through that 2 weeks ago when they experienced Chicago at Detroit. And Jared Goff, hey, it was like Oprah Winfrey. You get one, and you get one, and you get one. And then he came back at the end and won the game. Yeah. So it worked out, okay? But you got to take care of the football. This game is going to be won in the trenches because, again, like Brian says, I believe it was Brian. I want to make sure I get this correct in the chat here. The Lions are built to travel and play in these games. Brian Ruth, yes, we are built to play in shit weather games. He is correct. They are built to win that way. Their offensive line, their defensive line against the run, I guess. But they got to get after the quarterback, man. They just have to. But defensively, are you concerned? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You should be. This defense, if you had to put a concern level, I'm probably at like a, at least a worried, like Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears offense. They'll put some points up. I'm probably at like a 7.5, 8.
Yeah,
I'm being real with you.
I would probably say, if Aleem McNeil were playing, I would probably say 6.5, 7. But with Aleem McNeil out, what that could allow the Bears to do is actually dominate with Justin Fields running the ball and get more chunk runs up the middle with a guy like Roshan Johnson or maybe even Khalil Herbert. That will be a huge loss. And because of Aleem McNeil being gone, I would say my concern level for this Lions defense is at a solid 8 right now. Although the Lions have shown throughout the year they can do some things well, and they did some things well against the Bears. There's no Aleem McNeil, and the Bears also exposed some things with the Lions defense as well. So we shall see, but you can't take the Bears lightly at all.
No, the Vikings had success against the Bears. And again, they have Danielle Hunter, who's a beast, but they don't have a bunch of dudes all over their defensive line. They don't have a bunch of talent, and they were still able to pressure Justin Fields and make him uncomfortable. AG, man, the adjustments are important, but sending guys, you got to send linebackers. Anzalone might be back, we'll see. But getting this man uncomfortable, that should be number one. We got to hear about our friends from Guardian Alarm, though. Speaking of defenses.
Guardian Alarm. You want to talk about defenses that have never let you down once. Guardian Alarm is that, and you can let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Now, coming to Woodward Sports, Woodward and Main Street, the Woodward Sports Network Detroit Lions Show. Let's go! Catch Gabrielle D. Phillips, Matt Broder, and Terry Foster for all the latest news on your Detroit Lions every week. Only on the Woodward Sports Network YouTube channel and woodwardsports.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
For over 60 years, Fairway Pack & Co. has provided Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. Experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks or order online at fairwaypacking.com. All right, and this part of the show I was very, very excited for because Tim Twentyman, again, went on Heavyweights yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Woodward Sports on our YouTube channel. They did an interview with him, and it was great stuff. He mentioned Jared Goff in kind of the contract extension stuff, which I think is a conversation that I don't think we've talked about a ton because we're in the midst of a season. We're more concerned about just getting W's. But Jared Goff is on the last year of his deal next year. He's got 1 year left after this season. So if I'm Jared Goff, I ain't playing with a year left. So you'd have to think, is an extension coming this offseason? And that's something they're going to have to think about. Now, Tim Twentyman said that he expects them to get a deal done in the offseason. He's almost certain. Now, he doesn't know the exact answer, but at least the vibe he's getting, he expects Jared Goff to be extended. Now, the years and all the details and stuff, we don't know. But the question I have is, how would you like the contract to be constructed? And are you okay with it? Now, where I'm at right now is, I'm cool with Jared being extended because, again, a quarterback like Jared Goff and where he is in the NFL, he is a top 10 quarterback typically. He's been in the last 2 years. He's been productive. I get all of that. And he's, again, with Jared Goff, once this team added more talent, especially they need more talent defensively, they've won games, and he's been at the forefront of that. This offense has been a top 5 offense with him under center. That is true. There is no denying that. Him and Ben Johnson, the chemistry they have, what they've done together, it's impressive. Now, the other part of that is how many years are you willing to give Jared? I think that's the bigger storyline, because the number I'm not as concerned with. You give him 40, 45. I mean, Daniel Jones just got 40. You got to give more than that. Unless he takes less, which I doubt he will, you're going to pay him probably 45. Now, the years thing is probably my biggest question, Sam Flannel. Are you giving him 2, 3, 4 years? How many years will be extended on Goff? Because I am a big Hendon Hooker guy. I think there's a lot of upside there, a lot of potential. Doesn't mean I hate Goff. It just means that Hendon, I think, has a lot of things that he can do that I don't think Goff can do. And it could be vice versa. And we don't know what Hendon is because he just returned to practice. But you don't want to lock up Jared for 4 years and then find out you have a guy in Hendon. Now, we don't know yet. I think it should be a short-term contract. I would love a 2-year deal with Jared Goff. You keep him around. You have stability at the quarterback position, and then you get to kind of evaluate Hendon Hooker next preseason, and you get a better idea what you have in him. But yeah, I'm cool with an extension as of right now, Sam Flannel. I said it earlier a couple weeks ago. I'm not going to jump off and say no and switch and flip-flop like Neil Rule assumes I do. I am cool with an extension. The years are the most important thing to me.
Oh, God, this is a very tough question for me because I don't know if I am cool with it right now. And here's why. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like it, but I just have to explain this. The way that Brad Holmes has drafted a great core of players. I mean, he drafted the finishing piece, Penei Sewell, into what is now, when healthy, the best offensive line in the NFL. Which Jared Goff plays behind, by the way, which helps him out a lot. He signed David Montgomery and drafted Jahmyr Gibbs, which is now the best backfield in the NFL, which is also a major help to Jared Goff. He drafted Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round, who is not going to be this cheap for much longer, who is one of the top 10 wide receivers in the NFL. And he drafted Sam Laporta, who already in his rookie year is one of the top 5 tight ends in the NFL, at worst, maybe even more. And then even when you look at the defensive side of the ball, he drafted Aiden Hutchinson. He drafted Aleem McNeil, guys who are really, really major contributors to this defense, but are going to want to get paid soon. He drafted a guy like Brian Branch. He signed Cam Sutton. I mean, I could go on and on and on. He has done a wonderful job assembling this roster. But if you pay Jared Goff, if you give him a long-term deal, if you give him a lot of money to where it could maybe hamper the team signing some other players or extending some of the players in-house, you have to win a Super Bowl, or else it's a miserable failure, or else you're Alex Smith with the Chiefs. And I'm not. And those are the expectations that would be on the Jared Goff-led Lions if they decide to pay him, because it could end up not going very well. I'm not saying that if the Lions give him an extension, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be pounding the table. I'm going to be like, what are you doing? They can never win anything. I'm just saying that there have been pieces of evidence with Jared Goff in LA, in Detroit, where if everything's not perfect, he doesn't always look so good. I mean, you even look at his first year here, and I know that roster was morbid, especially at the beginning, and Anthony Lynn was the offensive coordinator, but Jared Goff at times during that first year in Detroit looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Obviously, when Ben Johnson was elevated, when Dan Campbell started calling plays, it unlocked Amon-Ra St. Brown, it unlocked Jared Goff. They were playing very, very well. And then last year, he was very, very good, and this year, he's been good so far. But even this year, that stretch against the Packers and the Bears in which he turned the ball over 6 times, that's concerning. That game when they went to Baltimore and he was throwing some of the worst ducks I've ever seen, just missing throws, looked like he couldn't throw the ball in the wind, and they only led the offense to 6 points. That is concerning. That's why it's so tough with me, because when things are perfect, when he's got the offensive line, when he's got the running game, when he's got weapons, he looks really, really good, at times elite. But when he doesn't have that, sometimes he turns back into a pumpkin. And right now, the Lions are creating a situation that is basically perfect. But you're going to have to pay some of those guys very, very soon. And if they pay Jared Goff and they have to let a valuable piece walk, and the Lions don't win a Super Bowl in the next 4 or 5 years or so, I'll be very, very upset. I think it's risky at this point.
And I do want to say this about Jared. He hasn't had a great defense yet with his, throughout his tenure in Detroit, which again helps any quarterback. You turn the football over, well, you have a defense that can get the ball back. He has not had that. So, Jared has to be not perfect, but close to because of this defense. I get all of that. But you saw it against the Bears, and this is my concern, guys. And I know a lot of you guys can relate to this with Jared, because I feel the same way. I like Jared a lot. I think Jared can win playoff games. I think Jared can have winning seasons. And that's why I don't want to just kick Jared out the door. I don't. But the thing I worry about is when things aren't going as well or things break down, and you saw against the Bears, when the offensive line isn't playing well, he struggles. And that's a normal thing among a lot of quarterbacks. But I'll tell you one thing. The top of the top, the cream of the crop, the top-tier quarterbacks in the league, which everyone is chasing, of course, and not everyone can get. Doesn't mean you should stop trying to get one of those guys. They can overcome things like that. And Jared, you are right. When things break down a little bit, when he's getting pressured, when there's some adversity, he does break down. And that is my concern there. So the question you have to ask, and Anthony chiming in here, I want to read his comment. He says, I believe he said, why extend him if he's never going to take us to a Super Bowl? I don't hate it. I don't want to say he'll never take you to a Super Bowl, but I get what he's saying, because even if you make it, Sam, the AFC, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, if they can get their crap together, like, you're going to ask this man, JB, to go against these quarterbacks. And you saw what Josh Allen, you could give him all the criticism in the world. That is fair. But if you watch that Eagles game, and we watched the same Eagles game, he kept them in that game with his arm in inclement weather on the road in Philly. The question I ask you is, could Jared do that? Do you think Jared Goff can do that? And I would lean on the side of no. Doesn't mean he's bad, but that's the type of guy, the mobility, stuff like that. Like Jared, when things break down, yeah, I like a quarterback that can extend plays. I like a quarterback that can convert a first down or convert a third down with his legs. And unfortunately, that's just not Jared. Doesn't mean he's bad, but is that a guy you want to give $50 million to? Probably not.
No, I mean, it doesn't mean he's bad. And I think for a comeback game like that, yeah, everything has to be perfect for it to go over well. As far as the contract extension goes, I think it will be in the 4 range, like the 40 range. I'll say that'll definitely be the first number, whether that be 40 to 45. I feel like that's maybe a comfortable spot that you might be able to give him, a little bit of a contract, because if you look at the rate some of these quarterbacks are at right now, I mean, has he played up to a level of Patrick Mahomes, so Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts? No, at least not in my eyes, in my opinion. So I'm not going to sit here and give him that $50 million contract that everyone thinks that he's going to get or that he deserves. He is a very good quarterback, and I do think the Lions want to keep him around at least for the next 1 or 2 years. I don't know who said this, but I remember someone yesterday saying that, hey, you re-sign Goff, and then next year at the trade deadline, you trade him and then start playing Hendon Hooker. I mean, that's an option right there, but I don't know how well that will work.
Paul Thomas says, Jeff, I wanted a female who isn't crazy. We always don't get what we want. You know what, Paul?
That's
facts.
Damn. Spin facts.
Jesus. Paul Thomas. Yeah, that is very. Hey, Paul, I listen. I get it. All right, I get it with that whole comparison to Goff. I understand the Goff thing, but again, I'm not going to say Goff can never take you to a Super Bowl or never win a Super Bowl. He's done it before, but the difference is, Sam, he did it in L.A. on a rookie contract when there was a ton of talent around him. Yeah. Which, again, that's typically how this thing works. I mean, Jalen Hurts made the Super Bowl last year with that type of roster. And they have a lot of it, but as years go by, you can't pay everybody. And that Jalen Hurts contract is going to kick in, and you're going to have to pay that man. And he's making a lot of money. So we'll see. It's hard for a lot of quarterbacks. But again, at least for Jalen Hurts, if you're Philly, yeah, I'm going to have to lose some guys, but I have Jalen frickin' Hurts. Like, that's the difference. The guy who's the best when he's trailing. So that's the thing with Goff. If you're going to pay this man and you're going to have to sacrifice other players, you have to believe that Goff can overcome adversity in the postseason, on the road, in tough environments. And I'm going to be honest, I'm leaning on the side of no. Even though he's been productive, I would lean on the side of no. He is not Jalen Hurts. He is not Patrick Mahomes. Last year, I would argue he was right behind Jalen Hurts in the NFC. He was the second best quarterback in the NFC, but this is a year-to-year league. He has not played that well lately. He played well against the Saints, but listen, this stretch of games and in the postseason, everyone's going to have their eyes on Goff, especially the postseason. You host a playoff game in a wild card matchup against the Vikings, against the Packers, against the Rams, whoever the hell it is. All eyes are on Goff.
Yeah. And
all eyes are on Goff.
Well, and
this defense,
yes,
that is fair.
And for the record, and I'm glad that you mentioned the defense, I'm not saying that Goff is necessarily the problem right now in terms of this team winning. I mean, you even look at last year and this year, when you look at it in totality, when you look at the macro level of the season, the defense has been the problem and the offense has actually been very, very good. It's just when you're moving forward with this team in which Brad Holmes is assembling what I believe to be the beginnings of a Super Bowl level roster, especially with another draft, more free agency, these guys have to develop. You're going to have to make some moves to maybe add some talent on defense. You're going to have to pay some of the guys that are already in-house who are going to be asking to be some of the highest paid players at their respective positions, like a Penei Sewell, like an Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's why if you do sign Jared Goff to a contract that is too much money, or what I deem to be too much money, you're not going to be able to pay everybody else, which is why I say, if you want to go ahead and do that, Detroit Lions, that's fine. But for all the Lions fans and for all the Lions players and for all of the people who love Goff and are kind of apologists for Goff, then you better win a Super Bowl at that point, because Brad Holmes, at least in these first few years, has done a masterclass in terms of how to take a team primarily through the draft from the doldrums of the cellar to the Super Bowl. And that's why it has to be a Super Bowl.
And let me bring these two comments up, because I do disagree with this. The first one, though, I do agree with. Jeff, didn't you say, Cody Engel, Jeff, didn't you say a month ago you would pay Goff and not wait because the price goes up? Yeah, actually, I don't mind that at all, because if he wins a playoff game, he's probably going to ask for more money. We'll see what he does. I don't mind extending him. Now, Cody, the years matter to me. If it's a 2-year deal and they give it to him right now, I don't. At this point, it doesn't look like they're going to extend him mid-season. But let's say they did, hypothetically. I'm cool with it, Cody. I'm cool with it, because I don't think Hendon would even be ready next year anyway. And you throw him in a lineup and expect to go to the playoffs and make a playoff run. I don't think it's fair for Hendon, in technically his rookie year, to be the franchise. Doesn't mean he can't in the future. And that's why I don't mind a short-term deal for Jared. I don't. But the second question, or the second comment he made, which, Cody, I do not agree with this at all, and you know this is not true. You know this is not true. Cody Engel, Goff could play like Hurts the next 5 games and win the Super Bowl, and people would still not want to extend him.
You know, Cody Engel, you've been on the opposite of a heater lately, because I'm so tired of that whole, the Lions could win a Super Bowl and Goff could win a Super Bowl and people would still complain. That's not true. Honestly, if Goff led the Lions to a Super Bowl, we would all be in the streets parading. It's
we would
just
eat
that
crow.
We would eat the biggest amount of crow. It's just that we don't know if he can do that, especially if you give him more money. Has he ever won a Super Bowl? No, and I would argue that in that playoff run, he was carried like pallbearers through that. In that first playoff game against the Packers, both Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson freaking Anderson rushed for 100 yards. In the Super Bowl that they played in, he led his offense to a whopping 3 points and allowed Tom Brady to backdoor his way into number 6. And then in the game against the New Orleans Saints, the Rams were the beneficiary of one of the worst missed pass interference calls of all time. So that's all I'm saying. It's just this idea that, even if they win a Super Bowl, you guys would hate. That's just so disingenuous and in bad faith, Cody. Yeah. You've been like that a lot lately, bro. You've been kind of creeping your way down to Detroit supremacy at this point. I mean, Detroit supremacy is way down there, but Cody Engel, man, you're making your way down, bro. Stop it with that.
Yeah, if Goff wins a Super Bowl, I mean,
duh.
I would sit here on this. I would come on the show that immediate Monday, probably hungover.
Yes.
And we all will be.
Yeah,
let's be real.
Absolutely. And I'd say, damn, Jared Goff, yeah, he proved all of us wrong. Because at least for a lot of people that didn't believe he could win one at all. Now, the thing is, though, with Goff, and again, there'll be times or stretches where he looks really great, and there'll be times where he doesn't. And for the majority of his time in Detroit, he's looked pretty good, actually really good. We'll see. There's a lot. There's 5 games left. Let him play out. Let him play in the playoffs, and let Brad make the decision. Because I think how Brad's approached this thing is actually smart, and I'm on board with Brad Holmes and the plan he has for kind of the quarterback position. I don't mind it. So trust in Brad Holmes. I'm cool with it. All right, let's go to break here. When we get back, I want to have a debate or we'll see if it's a debate, but a conversation. Coach of the year. Who deserves it? Dan Campbell, D'Amico Ryans. They both lead, or they both have the best odds to win Coach of the Year in the NFL. Does Dan deserve it? Does D'Amico deserve it? Who has the better case? We'll discuss that when we come back. But before we do that, I got to tell you about our friends over at Big Boy, because Jared Goff might go to Big Boy. Got a little bit of a dad bod.
Yeah.
Might go to Big Boy and indulge in some of their, potato pancakes. They're back, and they're delicious. Classic Lumberjack, Santa Fe Garden. Also, the new apple pie hotcakes. They're just too good to miss. Top it all off with a new gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Outdoor.
Let's talk about Outdoor Equipment Company, official equipment provider of Woodward Sports, Michigan-grown, family-owned, Bad Boy mowers, tractors, steel handhelds, and even weed whippers, Liberty trailers, Generac generators, snow X-plows, and salters. Outdoor Equipment Co. has it all. Buy it, rent it at 0% financing, delivery to your doorstep. Just visit their website at outdoorequipco.com.
Welcome back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network, talking NFL Coach of the Year this season. Who is it? D'Amico Ryans, Dan Campbell. I think both have a case. D'Amico's case is super impressive because he's doing it with a rookie quarterback, which C.J. Stroud he's him, and with how he's playing extremely well. He has some big wins, and we've had this kind of conversation, Sam, and you've been pushing for D'Amico. Kind of, you're in favor of him winning Coach of the Year because you're impressed with it. I don't want to give your answer, but we've had this conversation before, and you know how I feel. I think Dan Campbell has been the front runner all year for a majority of it. And I think it should be that way for a couple of reasons. I do think it's very, very close. But when people bring up D'Amico Ryans, well, we'll just start with win total. Clearly, the Lions are 9-3 for the first time since the 1960s. So if you want to bring up record, he has that. More wins than the Houston Texans, of course, with that defense, which the defense is nowhere near complete. And if you look at the teams in the NFC that have the same record, we would look at it and say, okay, Dallas, they're in a win-now mode. They got a ton of talent. The Eagles, yeah, they're trying to go all in. The 49ers, they're all in. And then you look at the Lions and you're like, what? 9-3? They got a lot of young players. They're not even done building this thing, and they're 9-3. Like, how? The defense isn't even good. They have the worst defense of the 4 teams, and they're 9-3. And then you go to the storyline, like I said, 9-3 for the first time since the 60s. So you could bring up, well, the Texans have sucked 100%. I get you. I hear you. But we're talking about the Detroit Lions, guys. Like, I mean, let's not act like they're 9-3 and all of a sudden, well, yeah, they're just a good team. No, like, we have not seen this. My dad has not seen this record since he's been alive. And my dad's 60. So, like, if we're going to go storyline, let's not act like Dan doesn't have a storyline as well with how the turnaround in 3 years that he's done with this team. And then if you want to go record, well, he'll have the better record. So, to me, Sam, I'm going to go with Dan Campbell. It's not a diss at D'Amico Ryans. He's done a very, very impressive job. But again, if Dan Campbell has the storyline argument, he has the franchise. It's the Detroit Lions. Like, the laughing stock of the league. The Texans made the playoffs years ago with Deshaun Watson and Bill O'Brien. So they were relevant. The Lions have not been relevant. They have not been. Like, this is very new territory. So I'm going to go with Dan Campbell. He deserves Coach of the Year. I don't think he should be stripped or all of a sudden get robbed of it. I don't want to go robbed because D'Amico, he has a case. But I'm leaning Dan Campbell. I think he deserves that Coach of the Year award, and I'll stand by that.
Right now, Dan Campbell's third in the race.
What?
Third.
Damn.
D'Amico Ryans, Shane Steichen. Are you really going to scoff at Shane Steichen? The Indianapolis Colts were
I'm not scoffing. I think he's third.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea what
was that? Was that a whistle? I'll blow the whistle on that play.
Oh, come on.
That's a what?
Wait, are you saying that's egregious or something? Did you see the
Dan
Colts?
Campbell's third.
Dan Campbell's third right now. Dan Campbell is third, but I do think that D'Amico Ryans and Shane Steichen will cancel each other out at some point, because I believe that the Coach of the Year will either be whatever AFC South team, if one of them can overtake the Jacksonville Jaguars in the AFC South and win that division, hell yeah, one of them should be Coach of the Year. Because last year, do we recall that last season the Indianapolis Colts won 4 games? Do we recall that last season the Houston Texans only won 3 games? And did we recall that early on in the season the rookie quarterback Anthony Richardson for Indianapolis was out for the season, and they played the first part without Jonathan Taylor? And the Indianapolis Colts, recovering from the doldrums of Matt Ryan, are now 7-5 and have a top 10 offense with Gardner Minshew at quarterback, and a lot of the season was Zach Moss. And then you've got guys like Michael Pittman and rookie Josh Downs on the outside. Of course, they are 7-5. That is a major turnaround. And then we look at the Houston Texans. They had the worst. They had the second worst record in the league last year. I mean, they were absolutely terrible. They were a morbid team. And then you bring in D'Amico Ryans, you bring in a C.J. Stroud, you bring in a Will Anderson, a lot of other pieces that they signed. And it's not just CJ Stroud. That's the thing. CJ Stroud is the runaway rookie of the year without a shadow of a doubt. He's having a phenomenal year. But the Houston Texans also have a top 12 scoring defense in the NFL, led by Will Anderson and Jonathan Greenard, just absolute studs coming off the edge. So to me, when you look at turnarounds of teams, it has to be either Shane Steichen or D'Amico Ryans. I get it. If Dan Campbell can lead this team to maybe 13 wins or something like that, he would have a case. But the Lions had 9 last year. And it's not any disrespect to Dan Campbell. I just don't get, Jeff, how you can just scoff, act like I'm an insane person for saying Shane Steichen.
I don't think you're insane. I just don't understand how Dan Campbell, he was the front runner all year. What happened? The Lions lose 4 in a row? What happened?
The Colts won 4 in a row.
Oh, and I'll tell you one thing. If the Lions win the NFC North, they've never done it. Is that a case?
They had 9 wins last year. The other teams had 7 combined,
out of the 3 coaches, you're going to have a coach with more wins, and he wins his division for the first time in Lions history, and he coaches the Detroit Lions. You're not giving the man the Coach of the Year award. Because the Texans came out of nowhere, which I get. But come on. Coach of the Year. And it's close. Shane Steichen's in the race. I'm not scoffing at it, but I don't understand. He'll have more wins. He has the storyline. I'm confused.
If either the Colts or the Texans win the AFC South, the coach of that team should win Coach of the Year. If neither of them do, and I would say the Lions win at least 12 games, I would be fine giving it to Dan Campbell. I'm just saying right now, you can't overlook. I mean, everybody thought that the Jacksonville Jaguars would just run away and sprint away from the division to the point where you can't even see them behind you. But we're talking about the Colts or the Texans maybe even being able to catch the Jacksonville Jaguars, who may have opened the door for the division by losing to the Bengals and for Trevor Lawrence being out for probably a little while. That would be damn impressive. I'm not saying what Dan Campbell hasn't been impressive. Dan Campbell is a damn good coach, and I want him to be the Lions coach for a long time, and the turnaround has been impressive. I just think right now he's not at the top of the list. He was, but once the Lions kind of looked a little bit more beatable, which they do than a few weeks ago, to be fair, especially with that Packers loss, it's opened the door for for a coach like D'Amico Ryans or Shane Steichen to steal it, especially given the fact that the Colts are now on a 4-game winning streak. We'll see how it all plays out. I just think that if I'm being objective, which is often hard to do working in Detroit and being a Lions fan, I got to say either Shane Steichen or D'Amico Ryans, but that does not take away how great Dan Campbell has been.
And I'll say this, Cody Engel says it's not the most improved coach, it's Coach of the Year. Which, again, Brian Daboll won it because that roster was atrocious and they went 9-7-1. So I get that. But, like, I don't know why all of a sudden we act like the Texans have just been, like, this garbage organization the last 15 years.
Well, they were garbage last year.
Just last year.
Mills.
So just last year.
So the Houston.
So give me their playoff appearances in the last 10 years or 5 years, 7 years.
They made a few.
So I'm saying as the storyline, it's the Lions.
All
dude.
right. All right.
Like that's what I'm like. I don't. Right. That's what I'm. And I'm not trying to make this like a D'Amico like slander thing. He's been incredible. He's a damn good coach. But if the Lions win their division, win 12, 13 games, and it's the freaking Lions, how do you not just ship the award to that man's house? And then Shane and D'Amico can be honorable mentions. They'll come in second and third, however you want to shake it up. I don't. That's what I'm not understanding with this thing. Like if it's storyline, Dan has it. If it's wins, Dan has it.
If it's coming into a dumpster fire and turning it around,
Dan has it.
I mean, Dan has it but he already started the gradual improvement from year 1 to year 2. If you were to give it to him any year, if the Lions would have made the playoffs last year, it would have been Dan Campbell's award.
When's the last time the Texans have had 9 wins?
It hasn't been that long ago. I think 2019 they made the playoffs with Deshaun Watson.
Okay, so it's been 60 since the Lions have had 9 wins, 9-3. They've been 9-3. Excuse me.
All right,
not 9 wins, but 9-3.
All right.
So 60 years since the Lions have been 9-3. That's got to mean something.
Dan Campbell has a case. I just say right now it's not number 1. He has a legitimate case. I'm not going to be mad if Dan Campbell wins Coach of the Year. I would actually wear that with a lot of pride. I just think, and I see a lot of people in the chat are really disagreeing with me, I think there's some slappyism to this right now, that there's some Dan Campbell worship to this right now, which I don't blame you for doing. He's a damn good coach. But Shane Steichen and D'Amico Ryans have done a hell of a job. They've turned around dumpster fires, at least dumpster fires last year, immediately. Last year, the damn Texans had Davis Mills. They were recovering from the Deshaun Watson debacle, where
and the
he
Lions
basically
were 1-6 at the start of the season. It looked again. I don't want to go to last year because I get it. You could tie all those things into it, but to me, it's this season, and D'Amico has done a really, really good job. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I just think I want Dan to be recognized for what he's been doing. Like it's like, oh, the Lions are 9-3. Yeah, they beat the Chiefs on the road week 1, the defending Super Bowl champions. I get that. They didn't have two of their better players. I get all that. Still an impressive win. And then we're just going to be like, yeah, well, D'Amico's, they've been exciting, so we'll just give him the award.
They've been exciting. They could win the damn AFC South. It's not just about they've been exciting. All those cute little adorable Colts,
here's the difference.
They could win the damn
Texans could, the Lions will.
Fair. That's 100% fair, but there's also greater competition for those other teams as well, because the Lions have basically had this thing locked up since week 4 at this point, because the division, although it's looking a little bit better than we thought with the improvement of the Packers, is a bad division. And I'm not saying that Dan Campbell, and here's what I will say. If there's a world where Dan Campbell does not have a Coach of the Year and Brian Daboll does, that seems like bizarro world. I'll give you that. But it's just how the years play out.
And if we're going to go storyline, if we'll just add more to it, which I don't think it should factor a ton into it, but let's just say it does. Like, where was this organization before Dan got here? Like,
horrible.
What he's had to do and turn it around. Like, D'Amico, he's getting praise and he deserves it. But, like, let's not act like Dan didn't walk into a garbage, like just a dumpster fire. So I think he deserves Coach of the Year. I think he's done a damn good job. And again, I don't want to, just act like, well, the Lions we're supposed to be good, so they're good. Like, no, the Lions are 9-3, first time in 60 years. This man deserves praise and recognition. Now, Easy's chiming in. He says, rookie coach, rookie QB coming off the second worst record the previous season. I understand, but if we're talking like last year to this year, then I understand that. But if we're going this season, it's Coach of the Year. And if we want to factor in storyline, dude, like 9-3, first time since the 60s, they're going to win their division. They've never done that. Well, I think Dan deserves it. I do.
And he does deserve it, but does he deserve it over D'Amico Ryans or Shane Steichen? Like Daniel Wachinski, he chimes in with, I think, something that his narrative has told him but isn't true. He says, did he just say the AFC South is a better division? It absolutely is a better division than the NFC North this year. The AFC South has 3 teams that are above 500. The Jaguars, the Texans, and the Colts could all finish above 500. I know that we were told before the year that the Colts and the Texans would both be bad, but doesn't that speak to how good of a coaching job that Shane Steichen and D'Amico Ryans have done?
And those guys are damn good coaches.
Who would have thought that, Daniel?
Again, those guys,
I win, you lose.
Those guys are damn good coaches. If they beat Dallas later in the year,
That'll be a huge notch in Dan Campbell's belt for Coach of the Year. I'll give you that.
If they go on the road and beat the Cowboys, like, you got to give this man the award. Because, again, the Houston Texans, and they've been super impressive, but if you talk about big wins and what the Lions have been doing, I just think it's, I don't know. JB, am I off on this? What do you think about the Coach of the Year award? I mean, you and Kenji, I want you guys to kind of chime in here. Who should win it at this point? Who's the front runner?
Go first.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm in lockstep with Flannel on pretty much everything but the Shane Steichen. I feel like he's gotten lucky with the Minshew mania, kind of, getting them these games. But ultimately, Dan Campbell wins it, I feel like. But I'm not mad at DeMeco Ryans if he wins it, because if you look at it, they were like expected to be a long-term project. They went out, they got CJ Stroud, they got Will Anderson, and kind of the turnaround that they made in 1 year has been pretty amazing. And to Flannel's point, they can win that AFC South division, and they are a lot. You have to account that the division is better, than the NFC North. So to me, I wouldn't be mad at DeMeco Ryans, but ultimately Dan Campbell will win it. But it's been a gradual, like, year-to-year process with Dan Campbell. If he was going to get it any year, like you said last year, if they had made the playoffs, he probably wins it. But it's been a gradual process for the Lions. And while he's deserving of it, I wouldn't be mad if DeMeco Ryans, if they end up making the playoffs and winning that division, then I wouldn't be mad at that.
If they win the division and they make the playoffs, like, now okay, like, I get you. All I'm saying. And JB, please, what do you think about this before we go to break here? Because we are a little over.
Yeah, we're a little over. I still think Dan Campbell wins this award just because over the years, yes, Detroit has been a project, and he's worked on this project for a while, and now you're starting to see the results of that. I think he's won over the media a lot more than DeMeco Ryans, and this does not diminish what DeMeco Ryans has done over there in Texas, because that franchise for a while was a bit of a dumpster fire, bouncing back from the whole Bill O'Brien thing, and trading away all your stars, especially DeAndre Hopkins as well too. But seeing the draft picks that they have now with CJ Stroud, he's doing amazing things over there as well too. It's good. Have to add Will Anderson and also Tank Dell too, which I don't think anyone saw that coming as well too. But I just think Dan Campbell has won over the media and us all in Detroit a lot more. So I still think it's his to win.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And Even Easy says it ain't Coach of the last 3 years, it's Coach of the Year. And if we're going off that, then you can't bring up, well, look what DeMeco walked into. It's this season. Even though I understand, but if we're going off this season, I'm just going to lean Dan. You can go with DeMeco. That's fine. But if
are we going to forget that? Did Shane Steichen die?
Yeah, well, he's third in all three of those guys are in the race. I'm not putting Dan third. That's ridiculous. That is absurd.
Right,
that is insane. I can't do that. Shane would be 3 to me. That's what I would do. He's in the race. I'm just Dan third. It's like, all right, we're just finding a reason to push this man back. Like, for real, 9-3, they're gonna win the division. First time ever.
I mean, this is the faction of the same fan base who says that after CJ Stroud being Rookie of the Year, number 2 and 3 should be Laporta and Gibbs, like Puka Nacua just died or something too. That's why I always say, and I was trying not to make people mad today, there is a faction of Lions fans that forget there are other good players in the NFL. That's all.
Let's go to break here. When we come back, we'll bring up Jameer versus Bichon, because I do want to bring that back up. And again, Woodward Sports posted this, and I thought it was a great graphic, kind of comparing both the rookie season so far. And hey, he's coming with how he's playing, even with less carries. We'll talk about that when we come back. But first, we got to hear about our friends from Swiss Insurance.
Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. Fall ushers in college and professional football, and this year has been awesome. Fall is also a perfect time to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177. Swiss Insurance.
Where's the most convenient place to get that big fitness energy?
It's Planet Fitness.
Join today for just $1 down, $10 a month. With over 2,400 locations and equipment for every workout, you can get in, get energized, and get going. And with free fitness training and most clubs open 24 hours, everyone belongs in the judgment-free zone. So join today for $1 down, $10 a month, no commitment, cancel anytime.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want opposites. Join Maz, Dick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Hey, it is football time, and Glorious Cannabis is dropping their new ice water bubble hash infused pre-roll called Honolulu Blue. It smells so good, it's like the whiff of the first playoff win in 31 years. It's an aggressive, gassy strain named in honor of our Detroit football team. And if you haven't had one of these ice water pre-rolls, then you are definitely missing out. It is so smooth. Head over to a Dispo dispensary near you for 25% off and visit them online today at gloriouscanna.com.
Let's do it. We're back. It's the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. And I want to bring up the Jameer versus Bijan thing because it is quite the conversation. And you look at what Bijan's been doing and how he started the season. He started off hot. And Sam, me and you were big Bijan guys before the draft because, we do a lot of draft conversations. We break down a lot of players. And I absolutely loved Bijan Robinson, because again, Jameer is a better pro player than he was in college. Brad saw the upside, he saw the speed, he saw, the how explosive he can be, and he's been a damn good pro, and he's been showing up. And again, it started, the big breakout was against the Raiders, 26 for 152 at a TD, had almost 200 yards from scrimmage. So you look at what he's done, he's played in 10 games, Bijan has played in 12. And he has roughly 100 less yards than him and more touchdowns and more receiving yards and more catches. And they got the same amount of targets and he has more catches. So if you want to go off that, he's got better hands, at least at this point. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, the conversation about Jameer versus Bijan, and we can bring up all day about Arthur Smith and how he does not, this man is he's tough to figure out with how he uses running backs, has not used Bijan. He's started to use him a lot more lately, but for a lot of the season was weird. But you look at the carries and in the usage, even though Arthur Smith hasn't been utilizing Bijan maybe as Falcons fans have liked, he still has 40 more carries, almost more than Jahmyr Gibbs. So more carries, he only has 100 less yards, more TDs, more catches in the same amount of targets, and he's missed 2 games. I think that debate, man, with how Jameer's playing, and he's RB2. He's behind David Montgomery, who's getting a lion's share, no pun intended, of the carries. And Joey mentioned it a little earlier, that the Lions could have 2,000-yard rushers. I think what Jameer's doing, he's exceeded he's been a damn good player. Yeah. Damn good player. And I think the Bijan Robinson versus Jahmyr Gibbs debate, even though Bijan and Jahmyr both have a ton of upside, I get all of that, it's a lot closer than it was before, Sam Flannel. A lot closer.
I think what Jahmyr Gibbs has done, especially as of lately, is he's made this a question not of who's better, but just what's your preference at this point. Because Jahmyr Gibbs has had a damn good year, but so has Bijan Robinson. I mean, when you just look at their counting stats, I'll just go through it. And I am not going to give Jahmyr credit for missing 2 games, because when it comes to running back, durability is a lot of it. That's why DeAndre Swift didn't last year. So I'm not going to say yards per game or per game. I'm just going to say yards. Bijan Robinson has more rushing yards, but Jahmyr Gibbs has a higher yards per carry, more rushing touchdowns, and he's also lost 0 fumbles, which is huge, and Bijan Robinson has lost 2. And Jahmyr does have more receptions and receiving yards, but Bijan Robinson has more receiving touchdowns and more total yards. But it's very, very close. These both are damn good backs, and they're very, very valuable to their team. The one thing I will say to give a little bit of perspective, and I think that this is fair, and this isn't to diminish Jahmyr Gibbs or prop up Bijan Robinson, I just have to give some perspective. Bijan Robinson is the best offensive player, at least skill position player on his team by far. When you look at the Detroit Lions, he's surrounded by Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and David Montgomery. When you look at the quarterback play that both of them have to deal with, I mean, I'll just go off the numbers. The Detroit Lions have the number 4 ranked passing offense, and and the Falcons have the number 22 ranked passing offense. The Lions have the number 6th ranked scoring offense, and the Falcons have a bottom 10 scoring offense. So when you look at Bijan Robinson, he kind of has to be the offense. He doesn't have a lot of help. The defenses are really keying in on him. And when you look at Jahmyr Gibbs, and you even look at their running back tandems, Bijan Robinson has Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is having a disappointing year, whereas Jahmyr Gibbs' tandem running back David Montgomery is having the best season of his career. So to me, I would probably say that Bijan is having the better year, but it's not to me to discount anything that Jahmyr Gibbs has done. It's just I don't want to do the thing that sometimes I accuse Lions fans of doing and just forgetting that there are other great players in the league as well. Bravo to Jahmyr Gibbs. He's been a lot better lately. When he's gotten the usage, he has delivered, but Bijan's been damn good too.
It's crazy, and I was going to be petty until I was going to bring up the fumbles, but you brought them up.
Hey.
So you know what? Kudos. 2 fumbles. Jahmyr Gibbs hasn't lost a fumble.
Booner. Zero chance Bijan is having a better year. Come on, bro. Did you even listen to anything that I say? Booner, you're sometimes the leader of that pack of you forget that there are other good players in the NFL.
Yeah.
You probably think Bijan's a bust at this point, don't you? Bijan has more rushing yards. He has more total touchdowns. He's asked to do a lot more on his team. Even though Jahmyr Gibbs has more receptions and more receiving yards, it's not even that's not that big of a difference. And Jahmyr Gibbs has 5.3 yards per carry, and Bijan Robinson has 4.8. And oh, by the way, it may not be all because of the offense, but the Atlanta Falcons are leading their division too, and their number 1 offensive threat is Bijan Robinson.
And I'll tell you what, it ain't because of Desmond Ritter.
It ain't because of Desmond Ritter.
That.
I mean, he's holding back Drake London. He's holding back Kyle Pitts. Tyler Algier is struggling. Cordero Patterson hasn't played a lot of the year. It's just this idea that Bijan Robinson is nowhere near Gibbs. Booner, I wasn't going to go there, but you did it, man. Stop it.
And here's the thing, and again, I don't want to go here, but I'm trying to kind of be the middleman between you and Booner, because he says, yeah, Bijan is getting all the touches on his offense. Jahmyr's limited with other weapons around him, and he still has similar numbers. I would argue that when you have weapons and you have a quarterback like Jared Goff, like the Lions have, it actually helps Jahmyr. And you have an offensive line like the Lions have, it helps Jahmyr.
You.
So I'm not going to go that far. I'm not going to say there's no chance that Bijan's having a better. He actually.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah,
Booner.
that's
ludicrous.
Absurd. I would say this: it's close. And Jahmyr, like we brought up, and you gave him a lot of.
I said it was close.
Yes, me and you are in lockstep here, Sam. I'm not going to say it's clear and Jahmyr's been far and it's not even close. I think it's impressive, and you already brought it up. No fumbles on the year, less touches, 100 less yards, and more catches in the same amount of targets in the passing game. But you brought up more total touchdowns. Like, there's an argument.
More total touchdowns, more rushing yards.
And that's all I'm bringing up. I think it's close.
More receiving touchdowns.
And that's credit to Brad Holmes. You have an RB2. You have Monty as RB1, who has actually roughly around the same yards as Bijan. So Jahmyr has 600 and something yards playing behind David Montgomery. It's super impressive. And he's finally, he's never going to get the 20-plus touches. He already had that game. But with David healthy, he's not going to get that like Bijan. But still, it doesn't mean we can't appreciate. Bijan's a good player, too. They're both good players. And there'll be times where there'll be early games in the season where they're playing Tyler Algier out there more. They're playing Cordell Patterson. They're playing, Desmond Ritter's running the football with his legs. So Bijan, although he's getting more touches, it's not like this man's getting 30 carries a game. Yeah. He's just not.
Well, it's like I said, if you wanna say that Bijan Robinson, that Jahmyr Gibbs is having a better year, I'll listen. I gave you some evidence that in some ways he has had a better year. I just don't like this idea that we are going to completely dismiss Bijan Robinson to prop up Jahmyr Gibbs. Jahmyr Gibbs has been great, but he's not even the number 1 offensive option on his own team. He might not even be top. He's probably, at worst, he's 4th after Laporta, St. Brown, Montgomery, and Gibbs. I personally think that Jahmyr Gibbs has the potential to be the best running back in the NFL, and I saw him do spectacular things, particularly against the Raiders, but Bijan Robinson is damn good too, and he's actually been more durable this year. And like I said, I'm going to bring it up because you guys always crapped on Swift for getting hurt. Jahmyr Gibbs got hurt too. And I'm not tearing him down. I'm just saying I need to sort of be the balance to the slappyism of Booner. This is slappy, slappy. Jahmyr can't slappy.
You slapping yourself.
Oh,
yes, I did that, Booner. And I know you're going to come at me on Woodward Nights tonight, but
and Booner saying the whole yards per game thing, and this side, people have to understand context, and we already brought this up, and I'm going to say this, and we'll go into break. And this isn't a slight of Jahmyr. I think Jahmyr's a dynamic player, and he is, and he's going to get more touches, and he's going to keep being productive. He's a damn good player. But when you have a guy like Bijan, if I'm a defensive coordinator and I'm looking at the Falcons and I'm saying, okay, who do I not want to beat me today? You know who I'm starting with? It's Bijan Robinson. That's exactly who I'm starting with.
By a mile.
So when you bring up yards per game, Booner, he has a worse offensive line. Like, let's not start dissing Bijan now. That's what he's fucking doing. That's why I got mad, bro. I'm not going there. Let's not start dissing Bijan. Like that's where you can't go, because then you're blind then at that point. He's a good player. Defenses are keying in on him every single week. They don't care about Desmond Ridder. Are you kidding me? You got to key in on Jared Goff. You got this elite offensive line. I would say top 2. If you want to put them 1, fine. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. Like, it's different situations. So let's not act like Bijan some scrub. Let's be real, guys. It's close. And that's what I appreciate, because early in the season, it was, Bijan's far and better. Jameer's right on his ass. Like, pause, but he is.
And I've given Jameer a ton of credit for that. He is having a damn good season. Like, where early on in the year, I was having some questions, but he answered a lot of them. He's been great.
Yeah, and I think at this point, with the sample size that Jameer has, he's having a fantastic year. He is. All right, let's go to break. When we come back, we'll get into what's trending with JB. Let's just do it right now, JB. We'll do it a little early. What's trending with JB Smooth? I'm curious what he has for us today.
Oh, I got some pretty interesting stuff for you guys today.
Let's do it. All right, we'll go to break. But first, I got to tell you about our friends over at Planet Fitness. Because, guys, Planet Fitness is the place to go. I'll tell you what. Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, those guys, they're in Planet Fitness. $10 a month. Your fitness is essential. Get in there. You get everything for just $10 a month. No commitment. They got everything you need. They got trainers on deck. I'm telling you, when I work out, I go to Planet Fitness. You get in there. You get a good workout. You leave. It's a great experience. I don't see Neil Rule there, though, because I avoid every location he's at. Because this man will go there and run 6 miles a day. He's built different. And now he's the president of the Media Association, something like that. This guy's he's Hollywood now. All right, this man Neil Rule. I think he got another. Now. Probably has another Range Rover, but he goes to Planet Fitness, and you can too. $10 a month. Your fitness is essential.
Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Brace yourselves, Detroit. As the sun begins to set, 2 of Woodward Sports' brightest young stars will be taking the mic for a brand new show. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder. The dog days in Detroit are over, and the boys are unleashed. Join in on the banter and hop on the bandwagon of the #1 night show on the internet. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel every weeknight from 8 to 10 p.m. Woodward Nights with Booner and Broder.
Let me tell you about Feldman really quickly, because we were just there on Monday. Feldman Chevrolet, Detroit's #1 Chevy dealer, 18 locations. There's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest to you. Catch Woodward Sports Network live from Feldman Chevrolet and Novi every other Monday. You know what time it is? What's trending with JB Smooth? JB.
Yo.
I checked my watch. I don't have one on, but I checked one. I checked the clocks. You know what time it is. Talk to us. What do you got for us?
Yo. So I was actually a little nervous because I didn't think I was going to have a whole lot to show for you guys today. But turns out, woke up this morning. There was actually a lot of news going on. And you guys mentioned it earlier about the Redwings. They're doing great things right now. But I just found this out as well, too. In 2024, the NHL draft will be held at the Sphere in Las Vegas, which I thought that was kind of cool. But
this thing is sweet, by the way.
I have not seen this thing live, but I've seen like videos of it on Twitter and X and everything like that. So I want to know what you guys, how cool would it be if like the NFL or NBA draft was at that Sphere? Would you guys go to it?
I would love to go. I know the UFC's been trying to do an event there as well. So Yes, that would be sweet. I've seen videos inside as well. I think this place, more sports organizations are going to start doing more stuff.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
It's only a matter of time, dude. Like, I'm telling you, like that. It looks weird on the outside. Like, what the hell's going on? It's a giant sphere. It's kind of cool though. Oh, yeah. I want to see a UFC fight in there, JB.
In a sphere.
In a sphere.
That's kind of cool.
And they can put like images and videos all around. It's like you're in a giant VR bubble. It's kind of cool.
Oh man, I can't wait for that one. But hey, the draft we're most looking forward to, we know what that one is. This next one.
Know.
Oh yeah, gonna be a blast.
We definitely know about that as well too. And I don't know if you guys have been tuning into the in-season tournament that's been going on with the NBA right now, but now it is down to the final 4 teams. What's up, Kool-Aid? Down to the final 4 teams. You got the Lakers, you got the Bucks, you got the Pacers. That's a surprise right there too, and then the Pelicans as well too. And I know we were talking about this earlier, but you know, the questionable call that happened the other night with the Lakers and this loose ball. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And the timeout that was called that should not have been called.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know that.
I got nothing for that one.
That's a little questionable right there from your king, Jeff. I don't know.
Yeah, I got nothing for that one. All right, they didn't. Okay, that's a bad call. I'll keep it 100. That's a bad call.
I guess the Lakers are the Chiefs one. Now everyone's complaining about the refs. It's a tale as old as time. You people. You people.
Hey, by the way, in-season tournament, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I've actually been enjoying it.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty entertaining. These guys are out here fighting like it's the end of the season playoffs or something like that. But hey, another thing that I found out as well too, apparently Giannis didn't know that they get paid for this tournament.
Could make it a little better. You said you're going to play roulette. You're going to get at least $100,000, so that'll make it easier.
Are we getting money now? We got some money?
That's a surprise to you.
The rich get richer.
Could make it a little better.
That's fair, Giannis. I don't know if he was joking or just trolling people, but it's still entertaining and funny at the same time too. Giannis didn't know that they were getting paid for this tournament. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, and that's the thing with the whole like, hey, $500,000 incentive if they win through each player. And I know Damian came out and said like he wants to win it for the other guys on the team, which I actually respect. Like, that's big time. But yeah, you think Giannis cares about $500,000?
Oh no,
no,
he doesn't care about that at all. It's just another check in his pocket to him, basically. Pretty much.
Oh, hold on. You know what? I love this. Let me just. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
David says, Jeff, you are phenomenal with Lions knowledge, but if you can't learn to talk about the Redwings, Pistons, Michigan, even MSU, I'm out. It's the same show every day. David must not have tuned in yesterday. Spent 45 minutes on Michigan.
We did.
It's unfortunate, David. You want me to talk about a Pistons team that's 2-17? It's the wrong show to do that. Find another one. See you, David. All right, back to you, JB.
Damn.
What do you got for us?
Damn.
Yeah, don't say. I call out things that aren't true. So, David, I wanted to clear that up. I don't know what you expect, but anyway,
I
go
feel
on.
you on that one. And speaking of Michigan, we're gonna bring this up just one more time, Sam. I know yesterday we went over the videotape of the Michigan players kind of moaning and groaning that they got Alabama, and some of the fan base not so happy about that. But let's look at the flip side of it. Have you checked out Alabama's fan base and to see how they are feeling?
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide, baby.
I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. Blitz, Bama, blitz, baby.
Blitz, Bama, blitz. I love America and I love the Tide, baby. And I love Will to death.
That's right.
Don't give a shit about piss but the Tide.
Tide, go get them. Tide, go take them down. 24-17.
I don't give a piss.
Yeah, so that's Alabama's fan base right there.
Yeah,
shout out to Heavyweights and Drewski for that one.
I saw a comment. What was it? In one of these Instagram, it's Drewski's run is like LeBron level. This man's been on like a long run of just being hilarious, and there's another one. That is hilarious. Drewski's a legend.
I don't want to generalize. I'm sure Bama fans have a lot of very, very fine people. That's all I'll say to that.
I don't care about nothing but the Tide.
I'll tell you one,
baby, nothing but the Tide.
Nothing but the Tide.
That one guy's 24-17 score prediction, I don't hate it. I just think Michigan will get 24. That's actually not a bad score prediction.
It's really not. It's not a bad score
Nick says
prediction.
cousin stuff going on there. Jesus, man.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, that's it for what's trending with JB today. Hopefully tomorrow I have a little bit more stuff for you guys. Back to you.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is Alabama fans, dude.
Care about nothing but the Tide.
You know what? Michigan should have hired that fan to scout for him. Because he can look at the offense and look at the defense.
Not taking the high road.
Got him on that one. All right.
Oh, that's actually fucked up. You know what? I'm sorry. That's messed up. That's messed up. All right, boys. Let's get out of here. Let's go to mailbag. That's messed up. Yeah, my bad, Downbeats. He said that's so wrong. All right. Shout out to that fan, by the way. I hope he's there, because if he's there, you better be shaking in your boots.
You know he's gonna be there. Come on.
All right, let's. Detroit Steve says, "One eye looking at you, one eye looking for you." That's that's fair.
Oh. Cody Ingle, 15-yard penalty. I agree with you on that one.
Mike Bell says, Alabama fans love black Alabama players. Yeah, that man, he's cool. That man's cool when they're winning. That's all. He's cool when they're winning. Damn. All right, let's go to break here. We come back. We'll get to mailbag. Get your questions ready. And again, anything. And David, if you want to ask about the Pistons, the Redwings, you can ask, okay? Because now we're not going to drop a bunch of viewership from talking about them. All right. It's fun. This is okay. But before we do that, though, I got to hear about our friends from Premier Pet.
Yes, of course. My favorite read of the day, because I get to talk about my golden retriever, Jake, and my orange cat, Milo. When it comes to your pet, don't settle. Give your pet the best like I give my pets the best. Premier Pet Supply is hands down Michigan's best pet store. Family owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations, over 60 brands of food, lowest prices, and curbside home delivery. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. Visit their website at premierpetsupply.com.
Calling all landscapers. This is Darren McCarty. I'm at Outdoor Equipment Co. How would you like to landscape like a legend? How about a bad boy zero turn? And even a chainsaw. And even a weed whipper. Whether you landscape for your job or landscape for fun, get all your equipment from Outdoor Equip Co., the official equipment provider of Woodward Sports. Michigan grown, family owned. OutdoorEquipCo.com.
Woodward Sports' own Tom Mazaway and Sam Stick Day will be hosting our Lions postgame show after every Lions game all season long. Tune into the Woodward Sports YouTube channel for his hot-off-the-press takes, game analysis, and Kool-Aid sipping celebrations. You won't want to miss it. Join Maz, Stick, and special guests each week immediately following every Lions game, exclusively on the WSN YouTube channel.
Your home is your most important asset. Flexibility in the sales process is key. When you work with Mark White & Associates, you can cancel at any time, for any reason, without penalty. Speaking of flexibility, check this out. Who you work with matters. Hire the best broker in the game.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your friends and live it up in a city that never sleeps. It's the Centron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win. Register at drinkcentron.com/Vegas and buy Centron at your local Meijer store. Centron, the healthier energy drink with great taste. Look good, feel great, and be the best version of yourself with Centron. drinkcentron.com/Vegas.
Let's get to mailbag. And I want to address something because I do think, and some people don't understand this, and it's okay. Jacob says, Woodward Sports has only talked about the Red Wings for 15 minutes this year, and 10 of those minutes were the day we signed Kane. Actually, you're incorrect. You must not have heard of Big D Energy. And this is what I want everyone to understand about this network, is every show is different. Every show is different for how it's set up. The Morning Woodward Show, we do heavy Lions, Pistons, Red Wings, Michigan. But again, this is a heavy Lions show. That is what is advertised. If you want hockey knowledge and you want all hockey breakdowns in the NHL and Red Wings, everything related to that, I would go listen to the 4-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty, Big D Energy 11-1. That's your show then, and that's okay. If you want more hockey talk, go to Big D Energy. That's how these things are set up. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, they talk more national. That's how these shows, heavyweights, kind of do a little bit of everything. Woodward Knights, they talk more heavy Lions. They still add in other things as well. Like, you have to understand how each show is kind of set up here. So again, if you want more hockey talk, that's fine. Just go to Big D Energy.
The big question is, would you rather hear about the Red Wings from Darren McCarty or Flannel Sam? That's what I thought.
Yeah, and again, people just have, and I'm just being honest with people because I don't think I've ever explained this.
Yeah.
The other thing also is, because I think Shad asked, why don't we talk about the Pistons? Because we talked about the Lions when they were ass or they were bad. Football is king, and if you're maybe not familiar with the media world, now you know. Football is king. No matter if the Lions stink or not, this town is a Lions town. There is no denying that. So I want people to understand that too. Just so you guys understand. Like, Lions, I don't care if they stink or not. There will always be Lions on every show. That is how that works. So just wanted you guys to kind of get the context on that. It's not because we hate the Red Wings. But again, like, what does better? We're going to break down yesterday's game for the Red Wings, which we will spend time talking about, of course. But are we going to spend 30 minutes on it? Or are we going to talk about Aleem McNeil's injury?
Aleem McNeil's injury.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to explain to people that maybe don't have this, again, that's fine. You might not know. So it is what it is. All right, let's get in the mailbag here. Danny G says, Jeff, why don't we talk about the Grand Rapids Griffins? This show is pitiful. That is funny. Danny G says we want golf talk. Okay, we'll talk about golf. Okay. Let's get to questions, though. And Broder started us off with one. Mailbag Flannel, what are your thoughts on the Iowa DC Phil Parker? I did see this, winning the Broyles Award for top assistant and not say Sharon Moore. Jesse Minter is a better DC, too. I agree with it. If you're giving Sharon Moore, that's fine. I want Jesse Minter to win. I think he should have won that award, to be honest with you. That defense has been incredible.
I think it should have been Sharon Moore or Jesse Minter. The funny thing is, though, is that one thing where you have to give the Iowa defense credit is, even though they play in the Big Ten West, the offense doesn't put them in a lot of compromising positions, and I was very, very impressed with the way the Iowa defense looked against Michigan's offense. It showed me that they are actually good. So would I have preferred Sharon Moore or Jesse Minter? Sure, but the Iowa DC getting it, I'm not that upset, but I don't think he deserved it.
Would you be okay if Dan Wood, if Dan Wood's explanation was true, Iowa's PFF grades were stronger? Would you agree with that?
I haven't checked out the PFF.
If their defense was higher rated in PFF, could that be a case for the award?
Well, no. That would actually be a big deal, because if your defense is higher rated in PFF versus a defense that's allowing less than 10 points a game, you must have a pretty good defense.
It's okay. That's funny. Don Beat says Neil talks about Detroit FC and y'all don't shame on the more. Yeah. Well, Don Beats, you said it, not me, huh? All right. Let's see some more questions. Detroit supremacy mailbag. Detroit, what the hell is this? Would you rather kiss Jared Goff or fight Mike Tyson? I mean,
that was a question last night on heavyweights. So that's
Detroit supremacy. Hey, what?
Answer the question. Answer.
Oh. I ain't kissing Jared Goff, bro. That is not happening.
Mike Tyson will end your life.
I guess Mike Tyson's putting me in a coffin like Bruce Irvin did to Derek Carr. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not. There's no way in hell I'm kissing Jared Goff. So Mike Tyson, you could beat my ass. That's fine. Speakeasy says Kith.
Kith, not Kith.
Yeah, I'm getting my ass beat by Mike Tyson. I don't give a damn.
I mean, I think that's what you get for answering a question from Detroit supremacy. He's a scourge to society at this point.
Yes, he is. Detroit supremacy.
Yes, he is. Of course he is. He comes in here just to get a rise out of me.
Man,
thank you for listening, but you've said zero good things in your entire tenure on this show. I mean, zero.
Yeah, Eric Burrows says, I'll kiss golf. I don't even want to, you know what? I don't even want to talk about this, man. Like, this is not what mailbag was supposed to be here. Let's
Kia.
Hey, I got a Christmas sweater for Christmas. It's Mike Tyson. It says Merry Christmas.
Oh, my God.
Is that, come on. It's corny, but come on. It's kind of cool. I appreciate it. Let's see. Anthony Tillery mailbag. Who's to blame for J-Mo less targets, Goff or Ben Johnson? Well, I think a little bit of both. I mean, J-Mo, and you watch the Saints game, he was in on he's been in on a lot of run plays, which I appreciate because it's kind of a disguise. You think J-Mo's out there, well, is there a big play coming? He's an excellent run blocker. I get all that. He's kind of a decoy in the run game, but he's also a really good blocker. But I'd like him to be out there a lot more. He is increasing his snaps. So I think Ben is working him into the offense. Now it's up to Jared Goff to get him the football. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think Ben's working him in more, but as of right now, it's got to be Jared Goff just getting him the football. But I don't want this offense to slow down production because of it. It's got to be organic. That's all.
That's the hard thing. Like, we're talking blame, and this offense is still putting up numbers, and they're 9-3. I mean, honestly, if you're talking blame, everybody, but some of it also has to go to J-Mo. I like how a lot of people aren't even including that. And I'm not trying to hate. It's just that he needs to develop the chemistry and get open and get snaps as well. It's on him too. It's not all on him, but they're fine. The Lions offense is fine, and J-Mo's making plays.
Let's see. This question. I want to find it. Oh, Steve-O. Mailbag Sam, your thoughts on J.J. not making Heisman this year? I know you're angry, don't lie.
I'm not mad. J.J. McCarthy is playing in the college football playoff, so I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
This one I've been trying to find. Oh, Dante. Mailbag, did you guys see what Brian Branch said about how the Washington Commanders told him they were going to draft him and didn't? Thank you, Washington, for being an idiot team. Yeah, appreciate you, Washington.
Thank you, Washington.
Well, I got to, you know what? And again, in this business, you're going to be wrong. I don't think I'm wrong yet, but so far it ain't looking good. Commanders took Emmanuel Forbes, my guy. And he's a player that I was a big fan of coming out of college. He has not looked great his rookie year. But I'm going to see how that train develops. You know how I am. I'm stubborn. I'm going to let this thing play out a little bit more. I don't want to call it a bust. He's a bust already. But yeah, Brian Branch versus Emmanuel Forbes, there is no question that Brian Branch is better right now. He is. And honestly, I'm surprised. And I'm still shocked that he didn't go in the first round. It doesn't make any sense.
I mean, Emmanuel Forbes would have never used the force to make Kadarius Toney drop that ball, right? I'm just kidding.
That's fair. That is fair.
Forbes would never.
I think if Forbes, especially how he's playing, if Forbes was on Kadarius Toney, he probably would win for 100 yards. So that's how it's looking with Emmanuel Forbes right now. So, hey, I'm still staying strong. I think he could be a decent player.
But Branch was a phenomenal pick.
He is, yeah, no doubt. Washington, that's an L. Yep. Their secondary is getting ripped up right now, so yeah, that's a problem. Herb Nash, mailbag, Lions win the Super Bowl would be phenomenal, but what would be bigger, Michigan to win the Natty or Lions to get to the Super Bowl? That's a good one. Michigan to win the Natty or Lions just to get to the Super Bowl, not win? I would say Michigan winning the Natty because winning the big game would be more significant. Lions making the Super Bowl, though, would be insane too. So they're both big, but one team actually goes over the hill. So I would lean Michigan.
Yeah,
winning the national championship.
Yeah, and I would lean Michigan winning a national championship over the Lions winning a Super Bowl even. But Michigan is my number one team above all, even above the Lions. So that'd be a really fun show the next day.
There's an argument too, and people are chiming in the Lions. I get it. They've never made the Super Bowl in the Super Bowl era.
So
there's that too. I just think if they make it, are we really gonna? I think we'd be pissed about them losing and then more excited about them being there. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe
I think it depends on the year. I think if they were to make it this year, there might be some happy to be there syndrome, but I don't know. I don't know. It would still be a damn good accomplishment.
All right. Let's see here. Let's get to one or two more questions. Terrence says, mailbag, did you notice St. Brown dad wants his brother to be a Lion also and not a Bear? I would. And I made this kind of comment before the season because EQ... was it last offseason or this 2 off seasons ago, whatever it was, he was a free agent. And I'm like, I wouldn't mind EQ just being brought in as like another body. Because, I don't mind bringing in brothers as long as the guy can actually kind of play. and EQ's, he's good, play special teams. He ain't bad. And I'd like the same, hey, at least on the podcast they wouldn't be arguing. I'll give him that.
The question is, do the Lions have any reason to get EQ?
Not this point,
and his 4 receptions this year.
No. I'm talking before the season. They got DPJ now. They got all these guys they brought in. So no,
We're supposed to be getting involved a lot more the next upcoming game.
Yeah, and Brian Root says he's 6'5", and Danny G says he's a hell of a blocker. Yeah, I mean, at this point, they don't need him. Broder says trade EQ and Noah Sewell for the Okoras. Okay.
Wait, whoa.
Well, all right.
I think Julian and Romeo are actually more valuable than EQ and Noah Sewell. Yeah. I mean, for real. Like, if I'm being honest.
On that defensive line.
On this defensive line, we actually might need him to play some snaps.
Jake says, I don't know. I like Rod EQ talking shit. That is true. I like the banter. And EQ kind of a Lions hater. I'm not going to lie to you. It's probably because he's just loyal to his franchise. That's all. But he's talking some ish. And we'll see this week. The pod this week will be interesting, those two. Let's go. One more question here. Steve-O chiming in. He says, Jeff, I would take the Lions winning the Super Bowl over Michigan Wolverines winning the national championship. Jim Harbaugh's bowl game record proves that. Yeah, winning, I would go Lions, of course, too. And I even think Super Bowl making it, you have a case. But if they win the Natty this year, man, I'll be happy for you, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
I'll be happy for you.
Oh, that next day's show.
You're coming in just hungover, possibly butt naked.
That next day's show is going to be wild.
Like this
Sam,
man,
guaranteed.
Please make it happen.
He's going to be. I'm going to give you 15 minutes to just break that down on its own.
He's just going to be drinking and smoking on air, you know.
Drinking and smoking. Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's get out of here. Appreciate you guys, man, for tuning in. Don't forget, rest of the program here on Woodward Sports. There's tons more content. If you want Red Wings content, of course, Big D Energy. They're going to break it down more in depth. Listen to the 4-time Stanley Cup champion. That man will give you the inside info. And, of course, Neil Rule, I think, is back. I think he just got back from his vacation on his yacht. Excuse me. Excuse me, not his yacht. He just won. He was the president of the United States or some BS or whatever he is. All right, let's. I don't know what he's doing now, man. Guys, I don't know what he's doing. All right, Mike Bell says blessings to all. Have a prosperous day, gang. I echo that, Mike Bell. Everyone have a great day. Blessings to all, man. God bless, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I can't wait. John Macaroon's joining us tomorrow, and then Micro Mike is joining us Friday. Two big guests. So the next 2 days, man, Lions content creators, especially Thursdays with John Macaroon. You guys know that's a weekly segment. Can't wait for it. We'll catch you guys. Jeff Iafrate, Sam Flannel, Detroit Kool-Aid, Ken G, and of course JB. We'll catch you. Deuces.